All right, my friends, so we're back for part 2, and we see this is asking us to find the first 5 terms of the sequence, okay? It tells us what the first term is, and it tells us what the ratio is. So our first term is 7. The ratio is 3, so we do 7 times 3 to get 21. 21 times 3, you can check it in your calculator, is 63. 63 times 3 is 189. And then the last one will be 189 times 3, which is 567. So there's our first 5 terms of the sequence. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Beautiful. Push ahead to the next one when you're ready. Find the first 5 terms of this sequence. Our first term is 250, and the common ratio is 1/2. So we have 250 times a half. So when you're multiplying by a half, you can write it like this, like a fraction times 1/2. It's also the same as just dividing by 2. So just notice that either way you're going to get the same answer, which is 125. 125 divided by 2 is 62.5. 62.5, same thing, divided by 2 is 31.25. And then our last one, 31.25 divided by 2 is 15.625. It is okay that you're getting decimals. You're going to sometimes, as long as you're following that same ratio each time to get your next term in the sequence. Push ahead to slide 10 when you're ready. Okay, so for this one, we're starting with 12. Oops. Our first term is 12, and our ratio is now 1/4. So 1/4 is the same as dividing by 4. So if the first one is 12, 12 times 1/4 is 3. 3 times 1/4, or divided by 4th, hit it as a fraction, is 3/4. 3/4 times 1/4 is, hit it as a fraction, 3/16. And then the last one is 3/16. We're not scared of fractions. Times 1/4, hit that button, is 3/64. And there's our first 5 terms. Beautiful. Push ahead to 11, slide 11 when you're ready. A geometric sequence with its first term missing is shown below. What is the first term? So how did we get from 12 to 48? We can figure that out by doing 48 divided by 12. Maybe you know what that is. If you don't, type it into your calculator and we get 4, which means we were multiplying by 4 each time to get our next sequence term. So to go backwards, we just divide by 4. So 12 divided by 4, oops, that does not look like a 12, is 3, which means our first term in the sequence was 3, right? 3 times 4 is 12. 12 times 4 is 48. It works. We can check it to make sure it makes sense. Push ahead to slide 12. A geometric sequence with its first term missing is shown below. What's the first term? Excuse me. Okay. So how did we get from 60 to 30? Well, to do that, we put 30 on top and divide it by 60. If we want to reduce this fraction, we could divide both these numbers by 10 to figure out what that common ratio is. 30 divided by 10 is 3. 60 divided by 10 is 6. So we could actually reduce it again to divide both by 3. 3/6 is the same as 1/2. So to go from 60 to 30, we multiplied by 1/2. So to go backwards, we're going to do the opposite and we'll multiply by 2. Or, which is the same thing as dividing by 1/2 is multiplying by 2. So 60 times 2 is 120. And again, just to make sure it works, if we start at 120 times 1/2, we should get 60, times 1/2 is 60. So that works. So we did it correct. Slide 13 is next. 20 to 40, 40 to 80. 80 divided by 40 is 2. 40 divided by 20 is 2. Our common ratio is 2. So if we want to go backwards, we're just going to divide by 2. 20 divided by 2 is 10. So our first term is 10. Last slide on slide 14, when you're ready, is just a little space for question, comments, and concerns. If you want to type something and share with me, maybe you want to find a time to meet with me, you can put that in here. Take a moment to share anything with me that I can do to support you. Make sure to check in with me at those office hours. They're always on Mondays at, if you're in section 2, they're at 9 a.m. If you're in section 1, they're at 12:50 p.m. Find those on your calendars. Come if you have questions. If that time does not work, let me know. We can find another time. That's not a problem. And just noting that the second quarter ends on January 24th, and then we're halfway through the year. So let me know if you have any questions. Make sure to submit this into Schoology when you're finished, and I will see you all in the next assignment. Bye, everyone. Nice work today.